Hey everybody, what's up? Yeah, it's late. I know it's about Pacific time. It's about 2:46 in the morning. So on this Sunday, which makes it 3:46 Mountain, 4:46 Central, and 5:46 um, Eastern, if you will. So, but so yeah, it's kind of late. But like I said before, when you have family and everything, when you have your parents mostly off of work due to things beyond their control, there's not much you can do but work around what you have and everything. And hello to Sun and Moon Natural Demigod. Thank you for joining me in this late night live chat. Thank you for that. Super chats are open, guys. If you want to donate, that's up to you. You can also take part in my Patreon at patreon.com/bwroses, where you get a $1 tier, gets you a recognition and a shout out like Mandor and several others have. New Jersey artist has done this. QB Doll did it one time. They had to retract for them temporarily, but Mandor is on there. You also have the $3 tier that allows you to donate, that you can donate to, I should say. And, you can basically not just donate, and get recognition, what I'm trying to say, in a shout out like Mandor gets, but you can also get exclusive video content you can only get at Patreon only as well for a limited time at deviantart.com under the BVW 1979 account. But you have to have a DeviantArt account, and that DeviantArt account has to be under mature settings. You can also find me at BW Rose's discussions. I guess Student Mun Natural Demigod is saying it's the same time frame as them. So yeah, it's the weekend. What are you gonna do? But anyway, like I was saying, you can also, like I say, you can find me at BW Rose's Discussions, which is my audio podcast, where I do like my Topics of My Mind podcast live here on YouTube, or pre-recorded at times, and then I take the audio from that and then I put it and upload it to Anchor.fm, which then distributes it to all the other podcast affiliates like Spotify, which owns Anchor, Apple Podcast, iTunes, Amazon Music, Stitcher, what else? Google Podcast, Radio Public, you name it. Just about every single podcast affiliate you listen to for podcasts and music, you can find me there in the BW Rose's Discussions. The only one right now is Pandora, so I have to work on that though. But every single one else out there. So yeah, you can basically find me on those areas, like I said, except for Pandora, which I'm still working on. And Sun and Moon Natural Demigod says they live in Washington. Well, yeah, there you go. But anyway, I wanted to come on here, like I said, and do this. Try to make this, short and quick, if you will, because it is late and I have to get some rest. But that's why I'm also drinking a donut shop mocha latte. Real, to keep me up, to keep me going right now. But anyway, I wanted to come on here and I want to do a live comparison on some of the video capture devices that I have. And the reason I wanted to do that is because recently, in one of my package openings that some of you may have seen, I did a package opening. Well, not only a package opening, but I did one. Well, doing that package opening, one of the things I ended up getting was a Hauppauge HD PVR rocket video capture device. Yeah, you heard me right. A Hauppauge HD PVR rocket video capture device. Excuse me. And the reason I got that was I saw several weeks ago, about a month or so ago, actually, I was rewatching one of the Rerez reviews from 2015, and they were reviewing this. And you know what they were talking about when it came to it was the fact that it was one of the more newer, and I think still at the time, one of the more recent devices they have brought out. In fact, they've even re-released it or redistributed it, I think, or restocked it. And basically what it allows you to do is capture video footage, game footage or whatever, and basically, capture it onto a USB drive. It allows you to capture it onto a USB drive instead of hooking it up to your computer and using whatever software it suggests to you there. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons I got it. Now, prior to this, I did have, like I said, prior to this, I did have a capture device that allowed me to do the same thing. Allowed me to do the same thing, if you will. Unfortunately, what happened, and I guess this is because it's the evolution of televisions and all that, if you will. But unfortunately, what happened was, how do I put this? When I got my 4K television, and even before I got my new 4K HDMI switcher to go along with it, I was able to, the other capture device, and I'll show you this in a moment, I was able to do the same thing that this PVR rocket, advertises that it does. Unfortunately, even though I could record it, I couldn't get the sound. Now, what was even crazier, though, was it seemed like there was a bit of a loose connection between the two. And what I mean is, I would get a blue screen instead of seeing let's say, if I'm trying to record footage from my Super Retrocade, I would see a blue screen instead of seeing the Super Retrocade. Or if I would see the Super Retrocade, instead of the black screen behind the title, it would be purple. So something wasn't connecting right. So that was so basically that was one of the main deciding factors for me to get a newer one. But just to make sure the one I was going to be replacing wasn't bad, I still utilized it. And yeah, I could still record footage and the sound. I just couldn't hear the sound. But then when I took it over to the guest room, the rec room across from me, where my old TV is, my Vizio is, and tested it out there, everything worked fine. So my guess is that capture device that I had could only work with 1080p or 720 televisions, and that's it. It can't work with anything higher than that. So that was kind of a surprise for me, in a sense that I it wasn't kind of a surprise, but it was a surprise that I kind of expected. As like, I knew there was something amiss, if you will. So yeah, I just wanted to see if everything was still in working order, and it was. It was in working order. Like I said, I wanted to make sure everything was in working order, and it was. Everything was in perfect working order. So that kind of told me that even though it could still record on my newer TV, it can't record everything, and there's going to be a connection issue and all that, because that device is primarily meant for 720 or 1080p televisions or monitors. Well, the one I got at the suggestion and recommendation of Rerez was meant for higher quality, because one of the things that Shane said in that video was basically this records at 1080p 30 frames per second. Now, I'm sure it also adjusts to 720, because sometimes the video footage you may record can only be shown at 720, or that's the only highest resolution it will go to, kind of like the NES and SNES and Sega Genesis mini console, as well as the TurboGrafx Mini. I'm sure that's the highest it can go. But still, when they said it could do all that, that kind of opened my eyes and that caught my attention. I'm like, okay, it sounds like what they're saying is that if you have a 1080p television or monitor, it's going to work. It's going to work. So I bought it, and recently I tested it out. And let me see who else I got in here. I got Sonic Leader, beloved Hitchhiker's joined. Thank you for joining me, my friend. I know it's late. Oh, you want to know about the Sonic frames? I downloaded those offline. I looked up, Sonic I looked up these covers. Like this is, I think 253 to 256, and then that's, I think 84 to 87. And like I said, this one is 284 to 287. And basically, I just looked them up, and they came up with the collages that they were advertised at. So that's how I was able to do it. And then, like I said, the same thing with that. So that's how I was able to get them. You just got to look up like 253 to 256 and 284 to 287 covers, and you should be able to find them. And when I worked at Walmart, I downloaded them, put them onto an SD card, put them into the what is it? The what's the name of the words? Coaxes, not coaxes, kiosks. Yeah, kiosks in the photo department, and waited until later on that day to you basically waited on until later that day, late in the day after work to pick them up, and then I put them in frames and displayed them, in my room. I had these displayed originally. Well, actually, I had some Actually, I started displaying these when we first moved here, because, this is actually no. I think these were displayed, just around the time. This one was displayed a little after I moved here. This one right here was afterwards, or before that, I should say. So I would have them displayed in my other room too, which was a little bit bigger than this one. But anyway, like I said, where was I? And hello, Pete Anderson. Thank you for joining me. And Henry Mark the Fourth. Thank you for joining me. My job at Walmart, I talked about that. There's a video I did on it. Long story short, I did something that I shouldn't have done. I basically would take a 20-ounce bottle of soda or Gatorade, whatever, and then drink it, but and go outside and drink it without paying for it, go into the break room, front or back, and without paying for it. And this was, I don't know why I was doing this, but I think it's because I wanted to get my mind off what was going on with the pandemic, because this all started to happen during the pandemic time. And then I started to do it with, little deli sandwiches. And again, nobody really said anything. And it wasn't until September 14th when, it all came to a head. And it was somebody from the outside. It was a head asset person from the outside that came in, and basically that was my downfall. She had never worked for the store. She was new, and that just caused my downfall. And that was my fault. But when I really think about it, they'd seen me do this on several occasions, and they could have pulled me aside and maybe suspended me, or, at least suspended me for a week or two, took away my pay for a month or whatever. But they didn't do that. Instead, they straight up fired me. And yeah, I'd gotten warnings before and everything in the past, but nothing, but usually I'd work those warnings off and it was like a restart. So I was like, so it really surprised me. But honestly, it felt like there was a burden coming off my shoulders because now I didn't have so much responsibility to deal with. And what's crazy is a lot of stuff has been happening. A lot of stuff has been happening in my store at times. Like there was a big outbreak, like a few months after I was let go, and then recently, somebody put on the Patterson Neighborhood Watch Facebook page that there was a fire drill going on, and every customer was leaving the store like something was going on, like something was wrong, and apparently a little kid pulled the fire alarm, and it was causing people to scatter. I don't know, but honestly, I don't think I'm going to be gone forever. They say that when you do stuff like that, you can't be rehired, but you know what? Nothing is permanent. Nothing's permanent. No ruling is permanent. I've got a feeling in the future that if I do reapply down the line for Walmart, that I'm going to probably get back in. I think one of the things I may have to do is just write out an apology letter, just explain that, look, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do this. I've taken this to heart now. I've understand, that the littlest of things will cost you, but we'll have to see. So, hopefully I'll probably get back in there and we'll see what happens, because I know a lot of people were not happy when I got let go just because of that. But honestly, I was listening to a recent podcast about a couple of weeks ago, by Jason Solomon, the Solomonster. Solomonster sounds off. And he does this portion of his podcast called The Week in Wrestling. And he was talking about, basically 26 years ago, last month, which was like a few weeks ago, 26 years ago, back in March of 1995, that, after the uncensored WCW Wrestling Uncensored pay-per-view, that wrestlers Dustin Rhodes and Blacktop Bully Barry Darsow got fired because they bladed. And then the person responsible for letting them do that, Mike Graham, who was one of the head bookers at the time, or matchmakers, got fired as well because he allowed them to. I guess he felt like it made it more interesting, more dramatic, and it lived up to the name of being uncensored. And I guess nobody gave Mike Graham the memo that that's a no-no, the blading. But over the years, though, Solomonster has said that over the years, Mike Graham, before his passing, and Dustin Rhodes and Barry Darsow have all came to the conclusion. There's been more evidence that's come out that they could have kept them on, they could have kept them around, and that it was mainly the whole, we're going to fire you because you bladed and you weren't supposed to, that they were just doing that as an excuse to kind of, relieve the pockets, if you will, kind of, relieve themselves of any extra finances they didn't need. It was a financial move, but, they didn't let them know that. But anyway, though, getting back on topic, like I said, what was I? Oh, yeah. Rerez, like I said, did this video back in 2015. And like I said, what caught my attention is when they said it can record in 1080p, 30 frames per second. And they did a comparison between this Hauppauge device and the other one that does, the direct connection to your computer, and basically stated that there was no, and hello, Samurai Dragon, Caillou Jones, thank you for joining, and Pete Anderson, thank you for joining me, guys. Again, super chats are open, guys, if you want to donate. And you can also help contribute at patreon.com, BW Roses, $1 tier, get your shout-out recognition, $3 tier, get your shout-out recognition, and exclusive content, video content you can only get there, as well as for a limited time at DeviantArt.com under BVW1979. But you have to have a DeviantArt account, and it has to be under mature settings. But anyway, getting back on topic here. Basically, they did a comparison of the HDPV rocket and the other Hauppauge device that connects directly to your computer, and what they found out was they couldn't really tell much of a difference, and even if there was a difference, they couldn't see it. So again, that's what captured my attention. That's what caught my eye. So I decided, okay, I'm going to get it. And thank the Lord, not only did my stimulus come in like it has been coming in, for a lot of us, and the extension, the pandemic extension on my unemployment got approved, moved and everything. But because of all that, and I don't know, Samurai, I don't really know. You have to ask the people that pair Sonic up with the female characters that they do. But anyway, like I said, thank God, I was able, all that came in almost at the same time that I finally decided to get the Hauppauge HD PVR rocket. And, once I got it, I waited for a little bit to try it out. I got it on Friday, but I didn't try it out till yesterday. And when I tried it out, basically, it worked. Everything worked. Everything instantly came on, no lag, no nothing. It instantly came on, and there was sound. I could hear the sound of my Super Retrocade coming from the Samsung soundbar that I got recently after I got my television. I heard the sound coming out finally, courtesy of that, and I was able to record. I was able to record video and sound all together, no lags, no nothing, and it looked great. It looked perfectly fine. And, I was happy with it. Now, do I believe it's going to last like this forever? No, because over time it may go down the route that the other one did, but we'll see. But now that we're about 22 minutes in, let's look at the comparisons, okay? Now, first of all, this is the first one that I ended up getting back at the beginning of 2019. That's how long I've had this. So that probably explains why there's a little bit of wear to it and everything. And basically, if I can untangle it here, this is basically the device. This is basically the device here. And it's the AGPTEK. AGPTEK. You can see the title right there. I think you can see it. And hello, Flotty Bausel. Well, thank you for joining. Got a lot of people, thank you. But right here we have the AGPTEK. And this was the one that I got back in 2019, around January 19th, 2019, because I checked the archive on my Amazon account. And basically it's set up very similar to the Hauppauge, because all you have to do is put a flash drive right here. Just put a flash drive right here, and if you want to record, put a mic in here, connect a mic here, and then here's your record button, and then this lights up. This is your indicator of whether it's recording or it's not. So when you turn it on and it goes red, it's recording. When you turn it off, it goes green. So it did all that. So basically, that's how easy it was. That's how easy it is to use. And on the back, you have your power cable, you have your HDMI input, and you have your HDMI output. And the big difference, now again, it works. It definitely works, but I think over time there's been a little bit of wear and tear. It's like you got to adjust the cables at times, and I think maybe the inside might need to be blown. You might need to blow the inside in and out, or something like that. But yeah, that could be a reason. But that could be a reason why there's a little bit of faultiness. But once you adjust it a little bit, you get it right into that right position. It works. It absolutely works. And it records everything. It records everything. Like I said, but if you use it, on 4K television or even an 8K television, you'll get the picture, you just won't get the sound. So that was the only thing that was worrying me. But like I said, when I took this over to my other television, which is in the other room now, it recorded everything. It recorded the picture, it recorded the sound. There was no like loose connection. There was no like, here's the title, the Super Retrocade, but then there's a purple background or something like that. There was no blue screen. It was all there. Everything was there. So again, I think it's because of the fact that I have a 4K television now that this, even though it still works, doesn't work 100% at what it should do, because I have a high quality, television in my possession now. I think the other thing too that may hold it down or weigh it down a little bit, if I disconnect it a little bit, is the fact that the biggest difference between the two, and I'll show you this in a moment, is this comes with an actual AC adapter. This comes with an AC adapter, AC plug, I should say, not an adapter. An adapter would be this, but it comes in. It's actually an AC plug, AC adapter plug. The adapter part would just be the plug itself, but you get the idea. But it comes with a full-fledged AC adapter, which is pretty long. So depending on where you're sitting or you're placing the device, it will reach whatever outlet you want to connect it to. And I think that might be, one of the reasons why there might have been some connection troubles. Again, not saying that not saying it's not a bad device. It still works, still records. So this might end up being the rec room recorder device maybe down the line. But yeah, if you want to get it, I would recommend it, because basically this is the cheapest I've gotten one at. This actually cost me about half of what the Hauppauge one did. This was like around, according to what they have it priced at right now, even though you can't find it on Amazon right now. Even though you can't find it on Amazon right now, it may get restocked later on. But what they were advertising this for was like around $62, $63, which isn't bad, but that's half. Give you a price comparison. That's half of what the Hauppauge, cost. That's half of what the Hauppauge cost when I got that. Now, the other device that I ended up getting was this one. This was the Rybozen. This was the Rybozen. I think that's Rybozn. Rybozen, and hello, Perfect Nanos movie. Thank you for joining me as well. Again, guys, super chats are open if you want to donate. Patreon.com/BW Roses, which is the dollar tier for recognition and shout out, like Mandor got, and others have gotten. Did do it previously, but didn't have to retract temporarily, which was New Jersey artist and Kifu Doll, Kifu Doll. I can't think of her name right now. And then the $3 tier, which Mandor is at, and New Jersey artist and Kifu Doll used to be at. And not only does that give you shout outs and recognitions and all that, but it also gives you video access to exclusive video content you can't get anywhere else except Patreon. And if you have a DeviantArt account with the mature settings, at deviantart.com/BVW1979. But that's only for a limited time. Okay, so anyway, this is like I said, the Rybozen. Excuse me. This is the Rybozen, Rybozen, the Rybozen video capture device. Now, when I got this, I thought at first it would kind of be similar to what I just showed you, but it isn't. What it is actually, and one thing I will say about these video capture devices, they all get packaged real nice. As a matter of fact, this was the package for the one I just showed you, for the AGPTEK video capture device. So that was its original package. And in this, again, like I said, is the package for the Rybozen 4K capture device. And the reason I got this, again, is because what it says, it captures in 4K, or at least it goes up to that point. And this is the device. Now you might look at it and say, well, that pretty much could do what you want, right? Not exactly. Not exactly, because even though you would think, okay, here's where the here's where basically the output would go, and then here's where the game would go, and then here's the power, right? But guess what? There's no power, there's no button, there's no recording button. There's no recording button, right? And you can see that. You see, you get everything on there. You get where you would plug in the capture and then the game console or whatever you want, and then USB, right? But guess what? There's no button. There's no button whatsoever. And then I found out what the reasoning was when I looked at the instructions. This is actually meant to connect to this computer here. So it's one of those devices. And this device is actually how I got introduced to one of my newer software installations, the OBS Studio. Now, does this do the job it says it does? Absolutely. It does the job it says it does, because I recently recorded some of my NES game footage on here before I got my Hauppauge device, and it works great. It works out really great. Sometimes there's a bit of a lag. Of course, I'm using a laptop, so that kind of doesn't help at times. But anyway, like I said, this does work. It does work, and it does come, believe it or not, if I can pull them out here for a second. Of course, it comes with instructions and everything, but it comes with HDMI, and it comes with the USB cord. So that kind of helps out in the long run when you think about it. So it comes with those. Oops, didn't want to hit that. Hopefully I didn't hit anything. But anyway, like I said, it comes with these devices, or these outlets, if you will. Let me put that back in there. And it has a nice little cushion that you can put for it later on. And this thing here, I think, if I can look it up here online, hold on for a second, guys. There it is. Just want to make sure I'm not hitting anything wrong. But if I can look it up online here. That's just my dog. If you hear anything, it's allergy season, so we all got it. Okay. All right, let me just check here. I know it's in here in one of my more recent purchases. I know it's here somewhere. I think I found it. Hold on. Yeah, here it is. I got this for, according to what this says, $44.99, $45. I got this. This was a lot cheaper than what they're advertising the AGPTEK one for, which you can connect just using a USB drive to capture footage. This cost me a lot less. And when you compare this to what the Hauppauge was, this cost me this cost me basically, I would say, around $80 less. Let's put it that way, than the Hauppauge. And I'll tell you why in a moment as I put this back. The Hauppauge here, and I'll provide a link at the end of this, a video link that is, to the Rerez review on this. But the Hauppauge here basically hits you with a peripheral of stuff. Hello, 60 Suspenders. 60 Suspenders, thank you for joining me in the live chat. Yeah, but this thing, the reason it costs 80, basically this cost around 125. And again, I'll provide the link, a video link to the Rerez reviews. But what this allows you to do, basically, and I'll show you the device right now, and I have a USB drive connected to it. I hope that doesn't hurt it. But this is what it does. This is the here we go. This is the USB drive that was on the AGPTEK one, and now I have it here. And this is what they were advertising on Rerez about. The fact that this thing right here, you can connect that to. Now, you can also connect it to your computer if you want to do it that way too, and they give you instructions on that. But this is one of the primary reasons I got it, so I can, like I said, basically finally record stuff. And like I said, when I connected this, it actually worked. It actually truly worked, and it was just unbelievable. Now, the big difference between this and the AGPTEK, and even the 4K, and even the Rybozen, the Rybozen that I just showed you, is it's got feet on here, so you can place it on any platform and it'll stand perfectly still. There won't be like any tipping or anything unless it's at an angle. But yeah, this actually works out pretty well. One of the biggest features is it's got a touch screen right here where you can adjust the volume to your likings. Like, you could set the volume to whatever you want. You can set it, if you will, and then lock it, if you will. And there you go. It works perfectly. And then, like I said, it definitely lives up to what they said it did, because when I tried it out, everything came out. Everything came on instantly. There was no lags, no nothing. Now, on the back here, you'll notice a few inputs, if you will, little plugs, if you will, inputs, outputs, if you will. You can see that clearly. So here you have the USB one. Here you have AV in. Here you have HDMI out. Here you have HDMI in. Now, here's the thing. This does come with an HDMI cable, but if you have one, hello, Zachary Haynes. Thank you for joining me in the live chat too. And yeah, you got to watch what you say, 60 Suspenders. Hey, sometimes you don't want to joke around about a lot of stuff. Believe me, you don't want to do that. But anyway, getting back on topic, like I said, you got all these ports on the back. You got HDMI in, out, AV in, and USB. And the AV in, if you will, that is meant to get around the PS3 lockout. And what that means, basically, according to what Rerez said, is if you try to go HDMI on the PS3 with this, you won't get anything. You'll get a blank screen, and that's it. This part right here, helps you get around that. As well as it also allows you to, I guess, go through the SV, the S video route as well, if you want to try to capture footage old school wise from, let's say, audio video of, let's say, your video game device, if it has that option on there. if you will. But yeah, you have these on here, and it's pretty cool. Now, the one thing that does put it over the price range is it comes with a bunch of devices. It comes with a bunch of cables. This here is the USB cable, and this here, of course, is the plug that you plug into the back of the USB cable right here, this one right here. And then this plug right here, this is the PC plug. This is they actually labeled these. So this here is the PC USB plug, if you will, and this is the console USB plug. And the reason for that is you can actually, I'm guessing, I haven't read the instructions fully on it, but I think you can connect your console with this, and then this would connect to your computer, and then you connect this to the device, and there you go, or something like that. I'm not really sure, but yeah, this is for the console. This is for the PC, and this is also the one you want to use if you're going to plug this in using an AC adapter. That's right. Now, unless you have a surge protector. Now, I have a surge protector, but the USB connections on it, because I have one with two USB connections on it, on the other side, on this side, not this side. So if I had access to them a little easier, I'd put it like that. But basically, you can use an AC adapter, USB AC adapter, connected to this, put it into your wall socket or your surge protector socket, and you'll be able to power it up like that, no problem. And then, like I said, this connects to the back of it as well. The other stuff that it comes with as well is, again, I'm not going to try to, these cables it comes with, this here is to, I guess, give you extensions. I'm not really sure. I think this is supposed to help extend your mic or something. I'm not really sure about it. I have to look more into it, but this is definitely an adapter for the mic, because you do get a mic with it. And then this is what I'm talking about getting around the whole PS3 situation. As you could tell, this is how you get around it. They package those in. And then, of course, you have these. These are like for audio. These are like, I don't know why they pack these in here. These are audio video cables. That helps you get around the system as well, I guess. Or at least for like mic or something like that. Then, of course, you get a USB cable. And then this is the mic as well that comes along with it. Now, this, like I said, cost around, on its own, it's retailed at, according to Amazon, at $125. Oh yeah, I'll provide a link down below. Maybe that'll help me out a little bit. But yeah, this cost me around, individually, this costs about $125. So if you order it or something like that, if you order it along with, depending on where you live, it will ship. I'm sure that since Sun and Moon lives in Washington, that the shipping won't be too bad for them, because they live right there. No offense on that. There you go. It's not in the best shape it used to be in, but it's in good shape. And then this is, like I said, the first one I had, and I think basically it's all about the adapters and all that. No, 125 isn't bad. That is true, but still, it kind of shows you that the more you pay for something, the better it's going to be. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, when I compare all three of them, as of right now, even though I haven't fully tested it, as far as, like, let's say recording on 4K and everything, as far as like recording in 4K and everything, I have to give the edge to the Hauppauge because, like I said, when I tried doing it this way, I'd either get no signal at first, I'd have to readjust the cable, on both this and the console, whatever which one I was using. And, like I said, whichever one you were using, you would have to adjust this and you'd get it in. And sometimes you'd get in, let's say if you have a Super Retrocade or RetroPie, whatever you use, you'd get the purple screen with the title of the console. Or if you're fortunate enough, you'll get the screen, the regular screen and everything, but you wouldn't get any sound. It would record the sound, it would record the game footage, but it wouldn't record. But here's the thing: when you're playing, you get to see the footage, but you don't hear the sound. But it's recording the sound, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, if I was to compare the two right now, I would compare the three right now. I definitely got to go with the Hauppauge. This I think is a great backup if you are looking for one. This is a great backup for if in case anything happens, or if you like me have another room with gaming peripherals in there. You could use it in there as well, so you can record. Let's say Wii's footage from your Wii's, your Wii U, your Switch, or whatever the case may be. You could do it there. So yeah, I recommend this if you're looking for a more affordable one, as a backup, and if you're looking for one that kind of gives you the option to go 4K wise, then definitely go with the Rybozen, if you will, or the Rybozen, if you will. But like I said, between all three, the Hauppauge right now wins out for everything that they said on Rerez that it does. It wins out on that. Because the thing is, like I said, the moment I played it, no lag instantly came on, sound and everything, and I was happy about that. So it wins out just because of that, and I'm using it on a 4K television, so that says something. And this is, excuse me, this is something that they advertised back in 2015, recommended back then. So yeah, again, the Hauppauge HD PVR Rocket definitely wins out. Recommend it. If you're going to be doing video recording off a 4K television, but if you need a backup and everything, and if you don't mind no sound for a while in case something happens, this is your best choice. It's also your best choice if you have another room with gaming peripherals and all that. That's mostly like, let's say, Wii's, Wii U's, PS2s, PS3s, whatever. This would be the best option there. And then if you don't mind going through all the razzle dazzle of putting your game onto your computer directly, then definitely go with the Rybozen 4K captured card. So if I was to rank them right now and suggestive wise, Hauppauge's number one. The Rybozen is number two because it does record. It does actually. Let me rephrase that. The Hauppauge is number one. The AGPTEK is number two, and then at a close second, but at a very, very close second, but right at third, have to suggest the Rybozen 4K video capture card device, because even though it does record, there is a bit of lag depending on what kind of computer or peripheral that you use. But again, number one right now is Hauppauge for what it's doing. Number two is this for, like, let's say backups, or if you have another room where you primarily have things like the Wii, the Wii U, the Switch, stuff like that. So definitely recommend as a backup in case anything happens, or if you have another room with gaming peripherals and all that. And the number three suggestion, in case anything else fails, go with the Rybozen 4K capture card, and that's Rybozen, I think. Video capture card that says 4K Ultra HD on it. It's cheap. It's like around $40 or $45, I should say, and it does work. And it does introduce you, get you into knowing and using the OBS Studio, which honestly is a blessing in disguise, because if you saw my recent Topics on My Mind live stream, and my recent tier list that I did for the wrestlers that were released and where I think they may go, that's what I was using. So anyway though, guys, yeah, I do suggest those. And Hauppauge, like I said, number one. The AGPTEK or something like it, very similar to it, if you can find it, at number two as a backup, or if you have another room where you primarily have, HDMI outputs for your Wii, your Wii U, PS2s, because they do have HDMI adapters for those and anything else. I recommend it for that, as well as, like I say, for a backup in case anything does happen to your Hauppauge. And the number three recommendation, of course, is the Rybozen video capture card, which is around $45. And it just basically allows you to connect your computer to your console and to your television if you want to do it that way. So, yeah, that's how I rank them. Again, the Hauppauge HD PVR Rocket definitely is number one because it's easier. It allows you to take out the not SD card, but the USB drive that you connect to it to connect to your computer, get the files off that, and upload them like that as well to your Twitch channel or to your YouTube channel, wherever you utilize as a gaming peripheral, a great gaming channel, if you will, primary one or whatever. But anyway, though, guys, that's really all I'm going to say. I thank you all for joining me. I don't do gameplay videos on my channel. I really don't. I just upload games that I play a little bit. I don't do live gameplays. The only thing closest I do is my CAW league, my Creator Wrestling League, which is known as DCWA. Check those out. Those are the ones that I live stream courtesy of PS4, because if I video capture them, I'm going to get copyrighted, if you know what I mean. But anyway, yeah, I don't really do gameplay videos that much. It's just more like just giving you a little example of what I play and everything here and there, just to add more content to the channel, because of course I'm monetizing it and it helps, helps financially with the channel. But anyway, though, guys, like I said, that's really all I'm going to say for right now. It's late, 8 and everything. I'm going to hit the sack and everything. It's about 3:39 in the morning. It's about 4:39 in the mountains and 5:39 central and 6:39 eastern, when the sun's coming up and everything now. So it's about, I'd say, about 1 in Hawaii, 12 in Alaska. So yeah, I'm gonna shut it off now, guys, and thank you all for joining me for this. Really appreciate it. Again, check me out at patreon.com/bwroses. $1 tier gets you a shout out and recognition like Mandor has been getting, as well as New Jersey artists and Cupidol, I think. And the $3 tier gets you the same thing, as well as gets you gets you exclusive content, video content you can't get anywhere else except for patreon.com, bwroses, and for a limited time on DeviantArt.com at BVW1979, if you have a DeviantArt account and it's under the mature settings. So yeah, guys, that's really all I'm going to say. I'm going to wrap it up here. So thank you all for joining me really this time of night. Really appreciate it. Probably the most I've ever had for a late night stream. So yeah, thank you guys for joining me. I hope this helped you guys out to decide, which ones to look into. Again, I will provide the video link at the end to the Rerez review, so you guys can check them out and everything. And again, big shout out to Rerez if they're watching this, whenever they do, for doing that video you did several years ago. It really did work. Everything was crisp, clear, and came on instantly, no problems whatsoever. So thank you all for joining me, guys. I will talk to you all later. I am tired, as you can tell. I'm going to hit the hay. So until next time, God bless. Take care. Get vaccinated if you can. And I am done. Peace. God bless. I'm out.